Welcome to another episode of the Baby Mothers podcast.
We're back.
Probably been wondering where we were. I know it's been a while, but we're just excited to be back. We're excited to have a chat.
Yeah, man.
And get into all things co-parenting. I'm your girl, Shells M.
Truly.
Truly Ruby in the house. So, okay, today's episode, I thought, let's talk about boundaries.
Good time to do boundaries, actually.
How you go about setting boundaries when it comes to co-parenting, like the good ways, the bads, like how it didn't work. I'm sure we've got enough examples that we can give out there. So, my first question is, do you think the way a relationship ends impacts on how you go about starting off co-parenting?
Of course. Like, you're not going to break up and someone's cheated on you or fucked out on you and everybody knows, the whole town knows, and you're just going to be like, right, so on Mondays, I would like you to... Come on now.
That's
you're going to be cussing. You're going to be hurt. You're going to be crying. You're going to be looking at them sideways. You're not going to want no one to talk to them. You're not going to want to hear about no new girlfriend. You're not going to even want them to have the kids if it's that bad.
But do you know what the joke thing is? I'm not stereotyping, but I'm just saying, usually it's the man that probably done something wrong why the relationship ended. I'm just saying, no one shoot me the message out. And then it's usually the man who wants and expects the woman to be civil and logical. You know, that you always hear them say, oh, she should take feelings out of it. She should put feelings aside. And I think it's easy because you're the one who done something wrong.
Yeah.
She's the one, like you said, who has negative feelings towards you, and that's why you're saying, you should just put them aside though and let us co-parent up. Because would it be the same if it was for the man? If
I feel like in general, we as just a people, we don't give each other enough grace. We don't give each other enough time to like just get over shit. And the thing is, we all know that the kids come first and you should be doing things right. But when you are in the heat of or height of your emotions, you're not thinking logically. You're not always thinking about what's best for the kids.
But the thing is, when it comes to kids, there isn't really time. There isn't time to have a grace period. So, like I said, if you break up, then you've got to set these boundaries straight away. You've got to sort these things out. So you can't really have a time to calm down or just see what I mean. So,
100%.
All right. Have you got an example to share of
Are you asking me? Why don't you share one of your examples, huh? Share one of yours. I've got loads. I've got an example.
Okay.
So, when we first broke up, he was with somebody, like
straight away,
almost straight away. Like he was with her. That's why we kind of
okay.
That was the cherry on the cake.
It's
not that our relationship was not perfect towards the end. We were having problems in the first place. But because there was another female in the picture, it just made the breakup 10 times harder. Had we just been like, you know what? We're arguing too much. This ain't a healthy environment for the kids. Like, let's just spend some time apart, blah, 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 and separate. That would have been a lot easier for me to say, you can have the kids, you can come and pick them up, you can come put them to bed, you can do all of that nice stuff in a nice way. But because there was another girl there, I'm in my feelings now. What do you mean you got a next chick? And she's some you anyway. What?
But if he's saying, not how does it affect, but if he wants to come and get the kids on a certain day and bring them at a certain time, really, what has the next woman got to do with it?
My feelings. Bro, I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying this is the healthy way.
Yeah.
At all. Because...
What about, did he ever turn up to pick them up with her there?
Yes.
Because that's
it's insensitive. It's just insensitive.
That should be
but
set.
It was also a point-proving situation on his part. Like, when we look back on it now and we banter and we talk about it now, he's like, obviously I was doing that to piss you off. But I'm like, you didn't piss me off. You actually just hurt me. Like, you actually made me feel insecure. Yeah. You actually made me, like, doubt myself as a mum because she's there in the background talking about what's happened. Mum, I am like, sorry, what? So it's when other people are involved, it just makes the situation even more messy because it's already messy.
And the thing is, like, imagine you've set an agreement of, okay, you can have the kids on Friday, come pick them up at 6 o'clock.
Oh, no, it's my girlfriend's birthday. Sorry.
Or then he comes to the house with the girlfriend. It's just like, how are you supposed to react like that? Well, you're supposed to still be like, yeah, cool, okay, cool.
And then it's funny because the first time he saw me with a guy now, he flipped.
Yeah, because men...
he popped off when I tell you. He went mad.
Do you know what it is? It probably happens to men less, I feel.
Yeah, of course.
But they can't
it was down the line.
But when
You've
it
had
happens
this woman
to
for
them-
how long?
Yeah.
Down the line now, you've seen me with somebody. Bearing in mind, we weren't even like in a relationship at that point. We were just friends, but we were getting closer. So obviously there's an intimacy there, and he's like, who's that? I'm like...
So how do you think, like, how did you go about setting a boundary in the first place? Because like you said, you're broken up now. It's beefy. No, like, you're not speaking or whatever. Like, how do you say, oh, let's talk? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like now, at the age of 35, if that happened... That is
It'd
something
be way
I would,
easier.
That is something I would say. I would say,
100%,
like, let's sit down. Let's talk about it. But then, you're young. You don't do that. You just, like, the boundaries, it's like they invisibly get set.
I'll be real. From what I remember, like, my memory is not 100% from back then. We're talking over 10 years ago now. But I do remember attempting to have conversations that were a bit more meaningful. Like, okay, what we're going to do with the kids, and when can you come, and what days, and set some sort of structure.
How do you think he was in that? Because my personal experience, I would say that you were doing all the talking and all the suggestions. Like, how engaging are men really when it comes to having these conversations?
I feel like when you are a level-headed person, even though you're angry, frustrated and all of that, and you're beefing with someone, you want to put your best foot forward, but it's not always possible because of what's happening emotionally. And when certain situations, like him seeing the guy, for example, happened, so I felt like we were kind of okay, and then that put another spanner in the works, so it kind of escalated things again. So it's like you kind of go on this roller coaster of ups and downs, and sometimes it was all right, and then he'd be consistent, and then other times it'd be like, I ain't coming, I can't make it. You'll be the first to know when I can. Do
you know if he ever did anything particular as a reaction to something? So like you said, like when you were seeing a guy or something, like, do you know if he actually did something as a reaction to that? Like, you know, like maybe didn't come on time or said he weren't going to happen.
Well, for example, like he brought the girl outside my house, having already previously agreed that you're not going to do that because I wasn't allowing him to come back in, and I basically told him to take all his stuff out of my house. So he didn't like that.
Yeah.
So then the next couple of times when he came to pick up the kids, it was like she was in the car. She was outside my house. She knew what my door was. What? But yeah, little things like that. It was very pathetic. It was very trivial, very point scoring, nitpicky, and tit for tat. It was very toxic, very toxic at the beginning.
That's probably the common
way.
If you ask most mums and dads, and they are honest about it, it usually is going to start off that way. The co-parenting, your journey, I mean, who's really going to say like, yeah, we broke up and then it's been wonderful ever since? It's usually going to start off in a bad place, not working out, and it's probably going to be someone who's been separated for a long time that can now tell you that, you know, the ending journey is going well. Do you know what I mean? But it's never going to start that way. So I'll give you a bit of my example, and when I first broke up with
go on then
dad.
Go on then, Shells. Let's hear your drama.
So in the beginning, I was very pleasant. I think I was very... Stop it. No, I'm being serious.
What, you?
Do you know why? Because I wasn't in a bad place. I wasn't feeling very angry towards him. So like you said, my situation is different. I've broken up with him.
Yeah.
And I've come to that realisation for a long time. Like, this isn't working. And we need to... So I wasn't angry or anything. I was more like, you know, I'm tired. Like, it's finished. So I was like, yeah, cool, we can still get on. It was more like the love is gone. So I still like you're a nice person. Do you know what I mean? So we could literally still get on. So in the beginning, I didn't really set any boundaries. It was like,
come when you like.
Yeah, like, oh, you're coming to get her. When he comes in the house, and you know, then he might stay, I don't know, 20 minutes having a chat or whatever. Like, it was just, that's what I'm saying. There wasn't, for me, that there was no boundaries. There was no boundaries. And then, like, we'd even do things together, like, oh, we might take her to the park, like, do it together, or I'm going to go here, do you want to come? And he would come. So for me, there was zero boundaries in the beginning. And that's because I was cool. I was in a good place.
But did he try stuff in the beginning?
I feel like, for him, I feel like he maybe thought, we're not really over. We've had breakups before. We'll probably get back together. So I feel like that's what he thought, which is why he also never said...
I feel like he thought that as well. don't you think that men seem to think that they can win you round?
Well, he probably thought, why is this time any different to the other times we've broken up? Like, my words.
But did you initiate the previous breakups, or did he?
Yeah, I've never been broken up with. No one breaks up with me.
Right.
No one breaks up with me. Like, no, I'm just saying, like, he never broke up with me. I always broke up with you because you're not doing what I want you to do. Then we have a chat. You say you're going to do it, and I take you back. That was the cycle. So there was no boundaries, and that's what I'm saying. He never said to me, which is something I want to talk about as well. Like, do dads ever bring up setting boundaries? So, because he never said to me, okay, we're broken up now. Let's talk about how we're going to do this. He never said nothing. I'm saying you just went with the flow. Until one day, and I can't speak on his behalf, so I don't know what the reason is. But one day, things clearly changed, because one day he knocked my door to get my daughter, and when I walked to turn around to go back in the house to get her, he did not follow me.
Yeah, I remember
and I looked back, and the man was at the door.
Yeah.
And I was like...
So he set a boundary.
Right. And I was like, are you coming in? He was like, no, I'll wait here. And that was the first boundary set.
Did you say anything at that time, though?
No. Well, what am I going to ask? Like, why are you not coming in? Like,
why not? Why wouldn't you ask that?
Because I don't know.
Pride. That's why.
Well, no, because I don't know why you're acting like this. But it's fine, because to be honest, I was already in the sense of where, okay, we've broken up now for a few months. We should start to be less friendly.
Yeah, separate a little piece.
Separate.
Yeah,
so I was a bit like, okay, cool, like, not going to come in, like, might be a good thing. But that for me was his first boundary. But, you know, he didn't talk about it. He didn't say, this is how things are going to change.
He just changed his own behaviour.
Yeah, or this is what we're going to do.
That's actually a very good point, because it's like, you can't change somebody else. You can only change yourself. But by him just changing that one little thing was very loud to you. It spoke volumes to you. So you could be one of those women now that when he comes, you make sure she's not in the house. Because I heard this shit as well. That make sure the child's not in the house. So when you go down to the door, you got some sexy lingerie on or some shit like that to try and
win him in.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've heard this.
I've heard these stories too. I can honestly say, never done that. Never.
But it's not even a shameful thing. I think it's more of like, emotionally, you're not ready to let the person go. Or, not that you necessarily want them, but you definitely still want their attention.
I think, because obviously that is what people get worried about, like when a baby father goes to the mum's house, like not like
are they
not even
sleeping
just
together?
at the door, but how cozy is it? Like what she
how
made
intimate
him,
are
do you know what I
they?
mean? Like puts the kid to bed and she made him dinner, then they're chilling, da. Like you said, obviously that would usually go if the woman is trying to entice him and get him back or whatever. But so I mentioned earlier on about then, like, do you in your experience, did the dad ever initiate boundaries, conversations? No.
Maybe a few conversations
about boundaries.
But I feel like it was more at his convenience and a need that he needed to be met, rather than...
That's what I'm saying, more reactive, isn't it?
Yeah,
more
yeah.
Oh, I need this now, or this isn't working for me.
Yeah.
So, I feel like not...
I feel like whereas if you're the mum and you've got the kids all the time, we're going to be wanting to create boundaries for the household rather than for our own personal needs, especially when you are kind of over it.
Yeah, and well, because we need to, like, we're the ones. Because for me, in my experience, I feel like the whole time, this whole journey we've been apart, I feel like I'm always the one initiating conversations about boundaries. No, because I can't recall a time he's ever said to me, Shro, can we have a chat? Can we talk about the arrangements? I'm not happy with this, or I would like it done this. Never. And obviously a lot of fathers do complain that they don't like the way things are. They don't like whatever access they get or the times they have to come, that women dictate, you got to be here. But are they actually asking and speaking up about it? Because I feel like it is left to the mums a lot to put these things in place. Otherwise, like I said, when I didn't put no boundaries in place in the beginning, what do we have? No boundaries. Do you know what I mean? Until I put the boundaries in place. And that's what would happen, I think, for women.
Yeah, but then he might argue that he was the first one that put the boundary in place. Because up until then, it was free willy-nilly. You can roll in, you can roll out.
Was that anything to do, really, with co-parenting or our child? Or that was definitely just a reaction?
Familiarity.
That was just definitely a reaction because he thought I was seeing someone. That's why that happened. But what I'm saying is, for women, we're more like, for the sake of the kids, or how we're going to parent the kids, or how we're going to arrange visitation with the kids. That's what I'm saying. For me, I feel like men it's just a reaction to something they don't like. That's when you'll suddenly speak up. Like,
I feel like where the kids are concerned, men are more reactive than females. But then I would say that probably that's predominantly because we are the ones taking them to school, bringing them home. We're the ones doing the daily routine.
So we have to ask
a man that doesn't live in the house, yeah, and may have left when the kids were kind of babies, has no concept of what the daily life of their child is like.
Of course, 100%.
They don't know who their favourite teacher is. They don't know probably what their favourite colour is. They probably don't know when they last went to the dentist. They probably don't know that they wet the bed yesterday or that they're having nightmares or whatever.
Well,
unless you're...
Actually, that's an interesting point. So, in the beginning, when me and him first broke up, I actually used to kind of feed him this information because obviously when you was together,
it's courteous.
You knew all this kind of stuff.
And that's familiarity.
Like, so if our daughter was sick, you would know she was sick. So in the beginning,
or when you want to talk to them, but you've got no reason to talk to them.
Yeah, because Dad's always saying, don't message
she's vomited today.
Yeah, because they always say, don't message unless it's about the kids. But that's not why I was doing it. But I just... No, because like I said, if you're in a relationship with someone and then you break up, you have to work out how you're going to navigate that. And I did think, surely he wants to know when she's sick. Like, if I don't send her to school that day, surely But
it's not affecting his day.
I know, but wouldn't it be weird for him to find out later that she was sick and she didn't go to school that day?
How many dads do you know that will care?
Surely they would. Yeah, especially if you're little. If you're little, like, surely you want to know that your kids...
I'm not saying that they don't. I'm just asking. I'm playing devil's advocate.
I think
because
a
lot of men would care.
I think a lot.
But they might not do anything about it.
No, I mean, he never said he was coming over with any medicine or never offered to come and... Because there'd be times when she was vomiting at night and, believe me, I was letting him know because I'm tired.
Are you coming to help?
He never, never offered to come. But he would always say things like, can you keep me updated? Can you let me know if she gets worse? Or, you know what I mean? Blah, 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 blah.
But there are some dads who... They are very detached from the child's normal life that it is... Unless there's an emergency, they're not really checking in because to offer you emotional support it's not existent in their mind when they think about co-parenting.
That's true.
Whereas I believe that a co-parenting relationship is that you are both parenting that child just in different households. So therefore, if you have a decent enough relationship, you should be able to support each other emotionally speaking.
In situations.
Yeah, but I feel like it takes a long time to get to there.
Yeah, but then I think that's why women will feel resentful in the beginning because if you go from being in a relationship
100%.
if you were having a good relationship at a time, so your partner was meeting those needs, all of a sudden you are left with the kids.
You're dealing with the vomit and the stuff.
New setup, like I say, you have to deal with everything. Suddenly, like my baby father, he used to take our daughter to school. Yeah, he used to share some of that. He might make her dinner sometimes, and all of a sudden, all these responsibilities are now yours. Now you must do the school run every day. You must pick them up every day, and you must make the dinner. And like I said, when they're sick,
what about when you're sick? Who comes over to put a flannel on your head or to say, "Don't worry, I got it"? Or when they're coming, mummy.
Or when you're hungover, oh my days. Sometimes I would call him for something or tell him something, and my man would be asleep in the middle of the day. And then he'd call me back and be like, "Oh, sorry, I was sleeping."
That's nice.
I used to be like, that is not something that happens in my life as a parent. You can't be sleeping in the afternoon, and that's the life you're living. So I can understand why women get very resentful because all of a sudden, that's the change that happens when you split up. And then, like you said, are dads taking that into consideration when they are, talking to the mum, trying to implement agreement, are they actually taking into consideration, do you know what? I know now that you are going to have to be doing all this other stuff. How can I help? I mean, I don't think they're going to use the help. All they're going to say is want. Where is my, when can I see my child?
Rights to see my child.
Where's my rights? Where's my time? What do I get? Rather than saying this is not working out, and one of us, you know what I mean, we're not going to get, you can't do 50-50. That don't work. So,
and not unless you live 10 minutes around the corner from each other, but that's not always realistic.
They need to go same schools and all that kind of thing, so that's not going to work. So someone is going to have to do more, and I accept that as a mum, that I will have to do more. But then what can you do to
alleviate and support?
Because like, let's talk about obviously where some people do let the dad in the house to like run the bath and put into bed and that. I've never been on that. And I know some women think that that's sharing the load. But for me, that's just a boundary I'm not willing to cross. I just don't think you need to come and do the bath.
I feel like, so that was me. I can't remember what point, how old the kids were. But definitely once I was over the situation, the breakup, the you having another woman and all of that. When I was over all of that, I don't know where he was. I was happy for that because they were still young.
To do it or not?
Yeah, for him. If he'd had them, for example, and he was bringing them back at 5-6 o'clock to stay while they had their dinner, and he could sit with them and talk to them and do their homework with them for the next day, and then bath them and then put them to bed and go, because you're not sitting down to put up with me. But that's nice for the kids that daddy can come in and daddy can play with me and daddy knows what homework I've got.
And what was the vibe? What was the energy between you when that was happening?
It was cool because I was cool.
You was cool. So it'd be...
But it's like, I felt like it could have never had happened had I been pining for him or angry with him or, you know, like really hurting. So it is wrong. Like, when you think about it logically, for the kids' sake, okay, because mummy is still heartbroken, I can't see my dad.
Yeah, he can't.
Because some women are still heartbroken when the child is 15 or 12 or 9. And that's not really okay.
That's for me. That's what I'm saying. For me, either you see the point in doing that, like you see why it's valid, or you don't think it's valid. Like you say, it can't be based on, because that's what dads will say. Depending on how mum feels, is how things go. And like you said, at least yours was like, okay, well, you never did it, and then when you got to a certain place, you did. Some mums change weekly.
Yeah.
Some would be this week you can come in, next week you can't come in, and that's not good for the kids to be like, okay, but dad's.
And it's not fair for the man either.
Yeah, it's not fair. 100%, it's not fair. But he probably brought that on himself. Anyway,
you had to throw that in there.
Slight dig. But the reason why I was never really on that stuff, the bath and the bedtime stuff, is because I think there was a time early on when my daughter was a small baby, and we broke up briefly. We got back together, but we broke up briefly. And I remember he had to come in because she was so small, we couldn't really take her anywhere, did it? So he had to come in, and all I remember is the animosity, like the anger I had inside me. And I remember like leaving him in the room and going in other rooms, and I'd be downstairs to my mum saying like, when's he leaving? Like, I was just it was awful.
Painful.
It was painful, and I literally be like, when's he getting out my house? Like, when's he getting out my house? Like, I was so angry and mad. And for me, the older kids they would definitely pick up on that then. So I'm definitely like, for me, that doesn't make a positive. You saying, oh, it's good that they he puts them in the bath. Okay, that's only good if the energy is not bad vibes. If it is like, oh, mummy doesn't like daddy, or the way daddy's looking at mummy, or even if you know if you grouched at him, you know, like.
Made a little dig, or
you're not doing it wrong. Okay,
yeah.
That would not be good for the kids. So you can't argue like, oh, but he got to give them a bath if all they're.
But the thing is, we can't be perfect either, because so for a period of time where, say, like it was the kids' birthdays, and I was like, okay, let's take them out for dinner, or there's a new show that they really like to see, like, I don't know, Peppa Pig on Ice or some crap like that. I'd say, look, would you like to go, like, with all of us? And we did little things like that. And the vibe was sometimes a bit frosty. But I used to, when I'd come home at night, once they were in bed and I'm sitting by myself, I used to think, you know what? No, you've done that for the kids. Because as much as it hurts you, as much as he annoys you or pisses you off or whatever, like, you've done that for the kids, and that's what's best for them.
So I think, obviously, if you can hide it well enough, if you can cover up. So
I don't know how well I hid it, to be honest, because I do remember my kids saying, oh, daddy's scared of you. Not, obviously, he wasn't scared of me, but it would be like...
It's just them picking up on something.
Yeah,
Alexis
they're picking up that I'm not happy.
You don't like my dad.
Yeah.
She told me the other day, you don't like my dad, do you? And I said, of course I like your dad. Of course I do. And she was like, no, you don't.
You're lying.
Or things like when he sends her home from his on the weekend and things are wrong and it pisses me off. The other day I said, like, he forgot the charger. He does anything, and then I'm like, no, I'm gonna take. I'll be like, let me ask this man where the charger is. One time she said to me, "Mummy, don't do that. Mummy, please." Do you know what she said? Oh, it was terrible. She said it was my fault I forgot to put the charger in the bag. I should have done it. Don't text daddy. And that just made me realise that I must have been saying things every now and then.
In front of her.
Not, not to her,
but
in
that she can
front of her.
overhear.
Like I said, when I'm maybe unpacking the bag and I'm saying something, and then, because clearly, she thought, I don't like her dad, and I'm always angry at him. And now I'm having to literally work on...
But was she lying? Because that's another thing as well. If she was lying and she's covering for her dad...
100% she's covering... I had to tell her...
That's sad.
No, I had to tell her, it's not your responsibility. When you go to your dad's, it is not your responsibility to pack the bag. I said to her, do I make you pack your bag before you go? Do I tell you to go to your room and get your clothes? No, I don't. I pack your bag. I said, when you go to your dad's, he has to pack your bag and bring it back. Like, no. But obviously that's what she took
bless
on.
Her.
I know.
Mummy's an angry woman now. Don't pop off on daddy, mummy. It was my fault. I'll take the gunshots. I'll take it.
Yeah. Awkward. Nah, but...
Are you a bitter baby mum?
Don't bitter baby mum. We are how many episodes in? We are way past. If I'm a bitter baby mum, we are way past that.
Are you sure?
No, but I mean, like you said, to answer our question in the beginning, does how a relationship end affect the co-parenting? It clearly does, because when, like you said, when the feelings go, when whatever feelings there are, whether that's anger, whether that's love, when that goes, and as time goes on and the longer it's been, I was about to say surely it gets better, but I don't think we can say surely, because I feel like there are some examples where some women will say it's been 10 years and it is still toxic, it's still awful.
100%.
I'm lucky enough, and I think so you are as well, that we can say in our journey where we are so far, it has got much better and we are in quite positive places. But who knows? If we're doing this, still doing this show
just the other day, right?
Years.
Just the other day, I was talking to my friend who is still very angry with her baby father, and their child is, early teens, 13, and she was going to send him a message. So I was like, send me the message, let me see what you're going to... Because she said, I've rewritten it because I don't want to be angry, but he needs to know. And I was like, send me the message, let me see. And I was like, you are speaking from emotions, and that is an attack.
Wasn't even in part of the situation.
No, I'm not. I'm
angry.
Yeah, you're speaking from emotions. You're attacking him, and the purpose of your message is lost. So you're not gonna get what you need out of him. Yeah. So
that happens a lot in communication. If you think about it,
100%.
If you think about it, a lot of men get angry. Not angry, but they criticize the woman for the way, like you said, she delivers the message. But really, why don't they actually just focus on the point? The point is still the point. It's valid. It's a valid point. She just
because whether we like it or not, the point is the point. But it can easily get lost in all the mist of all the rudeness, all the digs, all the unnecessary talking.
But just read. I don't understand.
No. But if it's just the point you want to make the point, and take out all the fuss. But you can't do that unless you're over it. Yeah, and this is the point. So it comes to a point where even when, like I said before, when I was still doing the going out for the day trips with the kids and you're coming in, I was still gritting my teeth because you came 5 hours late.
I was going to say,
Like, what's that?
It doesn't
10 minutes,
well.
Okay. Half an hour, but 5 hours,
Let me give you one quick example. One time when we broke up, I told him that he could come to the house, this was right in the beginning, to open Christmas presents so that he didn't miss out on that. My man came late. Christmas Day. My child can't open her presents in the morning because you didn't get there on time. I never did that again. Nah, sorry.
How old was she?
Little, like 4 years old. Aww. And you couldn't get out of your bed on time and come on time.
So just open the presents then, innit?
Affording this to you. Yeah.
Just open the presents then.
We didn't do that again.
Sorry.
All right, I think we ran out of time on this one. We've covered a lot of boundaries, shared a few stories. It's pretty clear, pretty simple. When you're not getting on,
it's just harder.
Yeah. And when you are getting on, it will be positive in the short term. In the long run, it will be better.
It's just best for the kids, yeah.
Okay, cool. So take that away, guys. Try not to think with your feelings. Try to think with your head. Thanks for joining us on an episode of the Baby Mothers Podcast, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you.